15,
Stopping, go.
14,
Green board.
13,
There's
12,
that green board call.
11,
That is great.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff of the final Delta II, launching nearly 3 decades of science research and exploration missions, lifting ICESat-2 on a quest to explore the polar ice sheets of our constantly changing home planet.
And actually there's some live video right now from the front of the Delta II second stage, and hopefully we can maintain that signal. That will be really, really cool to see.
Yeah, so we are expecting things to get a little rowdy behind us when we see spacecraft separation or get confirmation. There are some other control rooms where they'll be more focused, kind of making sure that we get through spacecraft health, which doesn't come until later in the countdown. So if it does get a little noisy, that's what's going on, is it's excitement.
Yes. Yeah, this is, like I said earlier tonight, this is what it's all about right here, is the spacecraft and getting them on orbit to start performing their science. So this is really nice to be able to see the ICESat-2 spacecraft on the front of the second stage as it's in space, getting ready for final separation here in about a minute and 20 seconds.
Now approaching.
Yeah, and again, just to preview some of the other parts of the countdown, or part of the launch sequence that will be coming up the flight, we'll see spacecraft separation. And a little bit later, we'll have the solar arrays deploying, and we'll also have a third burn of the second stage to get us in position to deploy the CubeSats, which is a big part. And then after that point, we're hearing we're going to get spacecraft health report, and that's when we're hoping to really kind of declare victory over the entire flight today.
Yeah, absolutely. Spacecraft separation is just another milestone. The teams will still be focused, waiting to hear the initial state of the spacecraft and make sure everything's good. So I think the teams are looking like they're all standing up and getting a little excited here. I think everybody's on edge, still focused on what's going on. But we're getting closer and closer here to spacecraft separation, and glad to see that we still have live video.
Yeah, we're about 20 seconds out now, so we'll kind of just stand by and watch and listen.
And standing by for spacecraft Sept shortly. And we have good indication of separation of the ICESat-2 spacecraft.
Awesome, that is great. That's what we want to see. That motion there you see on your screen is the spacecraft drifting away from the second stage. So that looks good. Obviously, we'll get full reports later, but definitely, like, a lot of people breathing another sigh of relief. There's several of those that happened today.
It's just another milestone. We still have a little bit more to go, and like we said, verify that solar panels are out and get that state of health. As you had mentioned earlier, they want to get into that light, 24-hour light, and be ready to go. So we're waiting to see that. We see the teams at the Remote Launch Control Center, NASA's launch manager Tim Dunn and his team celebrating the separation of ICESat-2 there. That's a very historic moment for this final Delta II.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of spacecraft folks, Goddard folks, Northrop Grumman, that are, again, another big sigh of relief. But I want to actually take a step back for a second and talk about the Delta II. So again, this was the final Delta II, 155th, but we were expecting the final Delta II was actually going to launch in 2011. When we launched the 2011, there was a Delta II mission, and we thought that was the last one. So, Mick, how are we here today with another Delta II?
Yeah, you know, the teams went through this with our NPP mission here on the West Coast and Grail on the East Coast. We thought that was the end of Delta II. However, NASA still had some science missions out there, and United Launch Alliance kind of stepped up and said, you know, we've still got some Delta IIs left. So we matched those up, and NASA's Launch Services Program was able to get OCO2, SMAP, JPSS-1, and ICESat-2 on the remaining 4 Delta IIs that ULA had. But what most people don't know is I think that they don't know that there's a 5th Delta II out there, or parts of a Delta II, I should say.
Most of one.
Most of one. We couldn't launch it, but there is some information we'd like to share on that with those parts that are available, and I think United Launch Alliance's Tori Bruno has an announcement for us.